I asked ChatGPT to make an image of itself so I could see who I am playing, and this is what it came up with. And this will be playing against me. Let's play a chess game. I will start 1e4. All right, here we go. I'm playing 1e4. It responds with c6, the Caro Kann. I'm going to ask it, are you a Gotham chess fan? Oh, ChatGPT enjoys Gotham chess. Levy's content is both informative and entertaining. Okay, this is not an ad for Gotham chess. Okay, I will respond with knight f3. Knight f3. Oh, nice move. I like how it's complimenting me. And it plays d5, sticking with the Caro Kann structure. Okay, I like to play the two knights attack against the Caro Kann, so I'm going to play knight c3. It's still asking about Gotham chess. It's still thinking about, okay. Solid development. I should have never brought up Gotham chess. It's playing bishop g4 in this position. It's pinning the knight to my queen, so now I cannot move my knight. Otherwise, the bishop will take my queen. I think here I'm going to play h3, attacking the bishop and kind of asking it the question of what is it doing in my position? Is it going to retreat or is it going to take the knight? Okay, and it answers. It retreats with bishop takes f3. Okay, I have to stop mentioning Gotham chess, please. Okay, it retreats with bishop. Wait, what? I'll retreat with bishop takes f3. Okay, it's not really retreating. Let's see. I'm going to take back with the queen so I don't ruin my pawn structure if I take back with this pawn. So my move is, let's see, queen takes f3. Okay, queen takes f3. It says, I'll continue with e6, preparing to develop my light square bishop. Does that check out? Okay, e6. This is the dark square bishop, but we'll give it a pass. Okay, I will respond with, what should I do here? I want to develop this bishop somewhere, but I can't really because all of the pawns are guarding these development squares. I think I'm going to take in the center, expecting ChatGPT to take back this way, and maybe I can develop my bishop to this b5 square and give a check. So my move is e takes d5. Okay, and it does recapture with c takes d5. And now I'm going to go through with that plan. I'm going to play bishop b5 check. I will block with knight c6. Okay, so it develops the knight. It blocks the check. And now I have a couple of options. I can just castle my king to get to safety. I could take the knight. Probably takes back with the pawn. Has to take back with the pawn. I could also just play d3 to open up my dark square bishop. I think the most practical thing to do here is just castle my king and get some king safety. O-O. That is short castle. And it will continue with knight f6, continuing its development. It's developing the knight, which makes sense. It's almost ready to castle after it develops the dark square bishop and castles this way. So here, I think I'm going to play d3 just to open up my dark square bishop and develop my final minor piece. It will play bishop e7, preparing to castle. Okay, so it does exactly what I thought it would do. And here, I'm going to develop my final minor piece. I could go here, but it doesn't really do anything. ChatGPT could just play h6 and kick out my bishop. So I think that f4 maybe will be a better square, but it could just play e5 and attack my dark square bishop. So let's play bishop e3, and let's see what ChatGPT does. Okay, so it's going to castle. We both have our kings castled. We're going into the middle game now. Pretty much all of our pieces, minor pieces, are developed. And now Principal Chess says to bring your rooks to the center of the board. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play rook fe1, and it will play a6, challenging my bishop. Okay, so I could retreat this way, but it's probably going to continue expanding with b5 with tempo on my bishop, and I would have to retreat even further. So what I think I'm going to do here is just take the knight, and ChatGPT is probably going to recapture with the b pawn. Okay, so it recaptures, b takes c6. It is my move. I have a couple of options here. I want to start going on some sort of attack. So maybe I can reroute my knight this way and this way just to get it closer to his king. And maybe we could launch some sort of attack, open up the king. I'm not too sure. I think for now, I'm going to just stay principled and bring both of my rooks to the center of the board. So I'm going to play rook a d1. Okay, it's going to play queen a5, putting some pressure on my center, it says. He's not really threatening anything with this move. The knight is defended. The pawn is defended by the knight. I suppose at some point this could come. So I could play d4 myself just to take control of these squares, take control of both of these pushes. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play d4 here just to lay my stake in the center. d4. Okay, and it responds with rook a b8. So rook a b8, going after my pawns, preparing to bring my rook into the game and eyeing the b2 pawn. Yep. I could defend it a couple ways. I could just push it, but then that does hang my knight. It would be nice if there were tactics like if I had a light square bishop here instead of the dark square bishop, then I could, if it takes my knight, I could sacrifice the bishop with a check and then win the queen. But we don't quite have that. So here I am almost considering bringing my dark square bishop all the way back to c1. It's still on this diagonal where it could participate in a kingside attack, and it's also defending the pawn. So I'm going to play bishop c1, and let's see what ChatGPT does. I'll continue with rook f c8, doubling up my rooks on the c file. Rook f c8, doubling up my rooks on the c file. Not quite. It's time to start thinking about some sort of attack. I might just want to play g4 and g5 and just start expanding my kingside pawns. There's not a lot of enemy pieces near my king, so I think pushing the pawns in front of my king is more viable in this situation. So I'm going to play g4, try to be a little aggressive. And it responds with c5, putting pressure on the center. Okay, c5, this is a typical Caro-Kann move. So he's threatening to take the pawn, and I would have to recapture with rook, which I think is fine for now. I could also take, but then he takes with the bishop, and it helps him develop a piece, eyeing towards my king. So I don't think taking is a good move. I think I would rather him take us. So I'm going to continue with my plan, and I'm going to play g5, attacking the knight. The knight could hop into the center, but we could simply trade and win a pawn in that variation. The knight could move here, but we would take it with the queen. So I'm thinking the knight maybe has to retreat. And then we can play h4, supporting this pawn, and maybe even push even further into the position. So let's play g5. Okay, in ChatGPT retreats with knight e8. It goes all the way back to the back rank. And it is my move. So this pawn is defended by the bishop, but I do think I want to play h4 and maybe even h5. So let's play h4 to support the pawn, and it will play c takes d4, capturing in the center, which makes sense. So he captures our pawn in the center, and I think I want to capture back with the rook. Everything is still defended. Let's capture back with the rook. So rook takes d4. And let's see how it responds. It will respond with knight d6, centralizing the knight and attacking my rook. Knight d6. It doesn't quite attack my rook, but it is centralizing the knight. So I don't have to do anything right now in regards to moving my rook. The knight probably wants to go to this square attacking my rook, but then maybe we could slide the rook over to g4, and maybe it can aid us in this kingside attack. So I think I am going to play h5 in this position, be ultra aggressive against ChatGPT and see how it handles it. The bishop is guarding this pawn, so bishop cannot take. Let's see what happens. And it will play knight f5, aiming to blockade my advancing pawns and attack the rook on d4. Okay, knight f5. So it kind of does that. It does attack the rook on d4. It's not really blockading my pawns, but I do have to move my rook. So I'm thinking rook g4, which is aiding in this kingside pawn push. Okay, and it will play rook c4, offering an exchange of rooks. So this is an interesting move. Okay. So I could take, and ChatGPT would have to take back with the pawn, which does create this isolated pawn that maybe we could immediately start to attack with a move like rook e4 and queen f4 going after the pawn. That seems pretty good to me. I think I'm going to take this rook. I'm going to take the exchange offer. So rook takes c4. And it will recapture with d takes c4. That makes sense. And I think here I'm going to continue with rook e4 to attack the pawn immediately. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see how he could take advantage of anything. Let's play rook e4. Rook e4. Okay, it'll play rook d8, putting pressure on my d4 pawn. I don't have a d4 pawn, but it is activating its rook. So we can capture back. And let's see, is the rook coming anywhere? It can't sneak into our position to give a check because the knight is actually guarding this d1 square. So I think I'm okay with capturing this rook or capturing this pawn on c4. So let's play rook takes c4. Okay, and ChatGPT says, I will recapture with queen takes c4. Okay, that is not a legal move. ChatGPT is trying to cheat against me. I will say that is not a legal... I can't spell. That is not a legal move. Your queen is on a5. And let's see how it responds. It says, you're right. My apologies for that oversight. Since my queen is on a5, I will recapture the rook with queen d5 instead. It is a legal move, so I'll go ahead and play it. And I could just trade queens here. He's going to have to retake with the rook maybe, or the pawn. And we would be going into an endgame where I believe we are winning. Okay, I think I'm going to take the queen. So queen takes d5. And I will tell it that did not capture my rook. I will play queen takes d5. It says, you're right again. Thank you for your patience. Now that you played queen takes d5, I will respond with rook takes d5, capturing my queen. Okay. We're back on the right track here. I do have check, and ChatGPT will have to block with the bishop or the rook, which seems pretty good. I do also have g6 here, just thrusting my pawns into its position, and take. And then I could even slide my rook here to attack the pawn. The king could come up to defend. I could start going after these pawns with a move like rook c6. His rook cannot really infiltrate my position because of my pawns and my minor pieces here controlling these squares. I think I'll start with check. Rook check, and then I'll probably slide my rook over to a8 or c6, depending on if the rook blocks or the bishop blocks. Okay, and it will play bishop f8 to block the check. Okay, so the bishop is now pinned to the king, and I can just play rook a8 now. If I play rook a8, he could push the pawn, guarded by the rook. Oh, okay, hold on. ChatGPT's rook is hanging. How long has the rook been hanging? Check, block. Okay, I'm gonna take the rook. Let's play knight takes d5. Capturing the enemy rook. He's gonna have to recapture with the pawn, I think. It will respond with g6, trying to stop my pawn advance. Now I can play h6 and really dominate the squares in front of his king. And if we could get a knight somehow to d7, attacking the bishop, we could be getting a pretty nice checkmate. So let's play h6 here, just shutting down the position in front of his king, controlling all of these squares. And it will play knight e7, bringing the knight back to defend. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's attacking my rook. I think I'm going to go ahead and play rook a8 here, just because it's attacking the pawn, and we still have that idea to play knight b6 and knight d7, going after the bishop and checkmate. In response to rook a8, it will play knight f5. So it's... Oh, did I hang my knight? Uh-oh. I think I played a little bit too fast. I could have just taken here, and the bishop would not be able to take back because it's pinned to the king. But I had a little oversight here. Okay, it happens though. It plays knight f5, attacking my h6 pawn. So knight f5 is this move attacking my h6. It does attack it. I think I have a forced win here with check. The king has to move, and then I have checkmate by taking the bishop. So let's say that was a sneaky gambit where I knew ChatGPT wouldn't take. Let's play check. And I think we're going to have a forced checkmate here. Knight f6, check. The king only has one legal move, moving to h8. So king h8, and then we can play rook takes f8, checkmate, drop a GG. Good game, ChatGPT. It's looking forward to the next one. I am going to ask it to, would you analyze the game? Let's see how it analyzes the game. e4, c6, a Caro-Kann defense, a solid opening. Looking to challenge the center in a more strategic way. It does, certainly. Normal development for both sides, with black pinning the knight to increase the tension in the center. Makes sense. H3, a typical exchange for the bishop and the knight, followed by a calm developing move for black. Yep. And white goes for early pressure with a check. We certainly do. It's getting all of this correct. And let's see. White makes a strong pawn push on the king side, while black builds up counterplay on the queen side and central files. And I think that is what kind of happened here. It's utilizing these open files to try to attack my b pawn, and we start pushing our king side pawns. Okay. Let's see. White's kingside attack proves decisive with the final combination, knight f6. Yep, followed by rook takes f8 being unstoppable. Key moments. Pawns on the king side, your aggressive push with g4, g5, and h4 really set up a lot of pressure. Black's knight got somewhat awkward and passive. It certainly did, having to move back to e8. In-game tactics, the finish was excellent. Your threat of knight f6 check was decisive. Overall, you played a strong game. Anything specific you'd like to dive deeper into this game? I don't think so. Thank you for playing, ChatGPT.